The 2020 Red Tournament is rapidly approaching at a rate of 1 day per day, and one of the hottest topics for the tournament involves one of the most controversial things in the entire game: instant text. There have been many discussions between runners and organizers about how to deal with instant text, and it seems to be a pretty split issue. Before we can get into that, let's talk about what instant text is in the first place. Instant text was discovered in 2015 by accident. A runner, Swaff, accidentally went into the bike shop to use a bike shop voucher to trade for the bicycle, but he did not yet have the bike voucher. But after talking to the bike shop owner, all of his text appeared instantly. The way this works is essentially, when you open the bike shop menu, the game sets a flag for text to appear instantly. By closing out of this interaction with B, the game never removes that flag until you perform another text speed check, like opening the menu or inserting a yes/no text box. So your text appears to be much faster. Through clever routing, the current any% glitchless route, we keep instant text as long as possible and save about 2 minutes over a non-instant text run. But this has never not been controversial. When the trick was found, it was deemed not to be a glitch. Then it was later deemed a glitch, and all runs with instant text were moved to a separate category, called no major glitches. But this was a long time ago, and since then it has been allowed on the leaderboards, and it has been allowed for more than 2 years. So why would it be banned from races? The thing about races is you play to finish. Obviously you want to finish true speedruns as well, but in races you take more safe strategies, like saving for fights, buying revives, skipping Silph, and sometimes fly red bar. For this reason, the any% glitchless world record is 145.21, and the race world record is 147.26, both by PokeGuy. In PB attempts, many of these are just not an option if you're going for a good time, these being, well, skipping fly red bar, or safety saving. This is where it comes back to instant text. When you open your menu with instant text, you lose instant text. So little things like healing your Pokemon will cause drastic time losses. Because after healing, you will either need to play out the section with no instant text, which often loses about a minute, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on where you healed. Or you have to walk all the way back to the bike shop to get instant text again. In a race where you want to play safely, runners are often met with an annoying choice to make. Do I heal and lose a minute? Or do I risk it and lose even more time, potentially even forfeiting? And since whether or not you are tasked with making this choice is basically RNG, as in depending on the luck you get, you take more or less damage, instant text is just an annoying way to fall behind in races. So this has caused some debate. Should we ban instant text? Those who answer yes say that losing our race due to losing minutes to having to heal out of instant text is unfair, and that there is no other RNG in the game that has quite the same effect. And that quality of races would improve with no instant text, because a situation like this would no longer happen. A runner leaves Mount Moon at 25:30, the other leaves at 25:55. This is a pretty close race. But the 25:30 runner gets good luck and winds up with a 38:40 Misty. The 25:55 runner loses instant text in the worst spot due to bad luck. This spot is after last 2 on bridge. It is the first fight where it is no longer worth it to go back for instant text if you lose it, which is why it's the worst. So, because of this runner gets a 41:00 Misty. This race is now essentially over unless there's a major skill disparity in favor of runner 2. No other area has RNG this punishing. To be fair, the situation was not overly common, but still happened more than once throughout the tournament. Not with those same exact times, obviously, but I digress. Those who answer no to the question say that instant text gives lower tier runners a greater chance of winning races against better runners if they get some luck. As you may already know, I am in favor of banning instant text for the tournament, but I will try to be objective, because this is a fair point in a vacuum. But I do feel like there are some flaws with this argument. One of those is, the lower runner can get bad luck and the higher runner can get good luck. This essentially puts the nail in the coffin if it happens, and it's just as likely as the higher runner getting bad luck and lower runner getting good luck. In the situation where a lower runner gets good luck and a higher runner gets bad luck and the lower runner wins as a result, actually played out less than the kind of situation I outlined earlier. Of the 18 races in round 1, the player with the greatest PB won 11 of them. However, the reason for the 7 losses was rarely instant text. For instance, Gunner Maniac lost due to being severely out of practice, SL Weed lost due to making subpar decisions throughout the entire race, Fran Chewbacca lost due to unfortunate E4 luck, he got a 2% Bruno death and did not save. Jim Freak and Dreekian had relatively similar luck, and Dreekian only edged her out by about 10 seconds. In later rounds, it was more of the same. In round 2, the runner with the greatest PB won every time except 3. One was Drikian's race against Alan Dwangro, but his PB was only 17 seconds behind Alan, so he was not exactly an inferior runner, and if he was, it was by a very insignificant margin. One of them was my own race between me, Legend Eater, and Barp the Wire. I won because Legend Eater misplayed his champion fight. The final example was Hwanli Ways versus Pseudo Trainer versus Matt Kelly. Hwanli was never consistently amazing at Red, which is not to be insulting, but it's true. Pseudo practiced his ass off for Red, and it paid off for him. That's why he won. Matt did forfeit, by the way. In later rounds, it was more of the same, with the only noteworthy example being Dirtepich versus Gunner Maniac versus Stepihan. Dirtepich won, despite having a worse PB than Gunner, but not due to instant text. It was because Gunner misclicked on Viridian Rival and died as a result. Obviously not the fault of instant text. So this point could also be used against me. It sort of proved that, despite IT, the best runner almost always won anyway. While this is true, this was never my argument. Instant text completely burned non-top runners on a consistent basis throughout the tournament, and I think it should be banned for that reason. Also, in races that involved multiple top runners, many of them were actually just decided by who had the better instant text section. And many runners agree, though some do disagree. I will now show statements from both sides. So, tell me what you think. Should IT be banned? If so, why? Do you agree with my arguments? If so, why? And would you partake in a tournament with or without IT? So, while I was asking for permission to use screenshots that I used, so obviously got permission, this came up, and let's go! I'm happy.